Möchtet ihr kaufen? Was möchtet ihr kaufen?
And several people who claimed to want to sell me things, but did not actually sell me things. Quite odd, really. This tavern seems to have no purpose to it at all. At least this place's rooms were much better constructed than that of the last inn where I was, for one could enter the room by simply opening the door. Inside of the rooms, I found several useful chests. A new man walked into the tavern.
Ich möchte nicht unhöflich erscheinen, aber
I typically avoid the company of your kind. Excuse me, good sir, what kind am I? I am an Elman. This man appears to be of my race, but does not want to have anything to do with me. For certainly no Nord could be so dark-skinned, and elves would have... Bloody hell! What the hell? What is this? I found that a deer awaited me the second I exited the inn. Perhaps these creatures were much smarter than I gave them thought, for he certainly had prepared an ambush for me, which was quite odd within itself. A deer preparing an ambush. I decided to continue through the town, towards the place where I was meant to meet the maker of this dagger that I found that I had hid at some point in my younger life. It is always so strange when you do not know what you have done in the past, and then go through and uncover your own tracks. Creepy, really. Well, that would be my only word for it. I continued to skip along the mountainside, oblivious of the danger that would happen if I fell. I decided that perhaps this high-stakes sort of jumping is the only solution to my problems. Also found that I was not quite able to go up this mountainside, or was I? Yes. I figured that there must be another entrance to the castle which I had not seen, for I was walking around the hill upon which it was built rather than going to the actual castle itself. Maybe I should have taken the direct path and walked past a horse. However, I should not question myself, for I am Alucard the Alchemist, the greatest thing that has ever lived, and possibly a man. Not good at all. I seem to have passed into the next area, which, according to the description, was far past my skills. And really just, oh dear. Found myself skipping to try and get away from the spider which had assaulted me, and perhaps find my way back onto the main road so I could get to where I needed to go without much death. Putting away my sword, I was able to run faster, defying the common logic that I need to be true. You always run faster with a knife. Perhaps a sword does not count as a knife. At what point does a knife stop becoming a knife and becomes a pen knife? Or a sword, or a short sword, or a long sword, or a bastard sword? How does one gauge where one's knife lay on the scale of knifiness? Was indeed another question for Velociraptor. If only that majestic creature had traveled with me to this world, I could have all of my questions answered. And perhaps not be as much risk of death. Velociraptor can also handle himself in combat quite well. Oh dear lord, oh dear. No, I'm getting away from here. Apparently I have found myself on the path, which I should have been on. However, It was not much of a path, to be honest. And another rooster in a wheat field in the middle of nowhere. Ah, there, finally I have emerged onto the path. My map needed some readjustment because the thing was terribly off. So I found more of these weird hooded travelers, this time on horses and donkeys, really. No time, I'm on duty. What a rude man, he would not even spare me a word. I did find a shack with an interesting sort of a ladder construction on it. However, I was not able to use the thing. Quite an odd little shack, really. Ancient coach. It was locked. As I walked onward, I found several skulls, as well as zombified body suspended over a flame. That was just unacceptable. I could not handle that and decided to run away before the image became permanently scarred into my mind. I have not had to deal with death of humans very often, and when I do not take it well. Then again, perhaps that is not a human. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Ja, bitte? Ihr wundert euch wohl, was eine Gruppe bis an die Zähne bewaffneter Krieger hier vor der
This man was being mysterious and would not tell me why him and his mercenaries were standing around here.
Fragt bitte nicht mich, wenn ihr irgendetwas wollt.
These men told me not to speak to him, and this man refused to speak to me, so not really much I could do. I have, however, put the bell tower on alert. Oh dear lord. I was thrown in jail for my usage of magic inside of the borders, and I decided to serve out my term. It appears that magic would get me thrown in jail quite often. Wow. That was quite the jail term. I decided to avoid serving the jail term by returning to a previous time, where I found myself yet again locked in single combat with this impossible creature that had somehow managed to hunt me down to the inn which I entered. It made no sense to me, but who was I to question the grander scheme of nature? This time around, I decided to be slightly more intelligent about my approach, and would not use magic when I was in the town. For a fine of 500 gold was not one that I was really willing to pay, nor serve the jail term for the crime. I continued up the path up until it no longer became a path, and went in, besides what looked like a giant garbage pile, into the inner walls of the city. I continued to go up some stairs, and found a shop. Perhaps this shopkeeper would tell me where the smith that I was looking for was. This was actually quite a big town.
Was möchtet ihr?
And maybe I would be able to find something here. Like a steel short sword. Yes, this is interesting. I decided to haggle with the shopkeeper and see what kind of a fair price I could fetch for all the potions in my possession, as well as my iron sword, for I would not be needing it. Instead, I decided to buy myself a steel short sword for 38 gold. And then I left this woman to her standing around. Yet again, I found another one of these lewd... excuse me. Yet again, I found another one of these lewd books about a certain knight Roland. I wondered who in this kingdom was so trying to besmirch his name as to put lewd books of him around at every corner. With this steel short sword, I felt like I could do much better in combat against creatures. And saw a house that I was not permitted to enter. So I decided to enter. There's really not much else to do. As I looked around the house, I saw it to be pretty typical. Poorly decorated with carpets hanging on the walls. And nothing really of value anywhere, except for this iron ore. I found plenty of iron in this place, as well as a hammer. Perhaps this belonged to a miner of some sorts. I was not quite sure. I also found quite a nice ring, which I would assume would be the occupants. And several chickens and a couple of chicks. Quickly left the premises before any of the guards spotted me. I hoped. And continued to walk aimlessly around the town. Walking past a garbage pile, I found myself once again standing next to the mercenaries.
Ihr wundert euch wohl, was eine Gruppe bis an die Zähne bewaffneter Krieger hier vor...
And he is telling me that they wait for something, but cannot tell me more because, well, he's whatever. I was also not able to enter the guards' quarters. I did find my own chest, though. Quite nice. To have a chest in every town, somebody was quite thoughtful. Perhaps it was me who was thoughtful. Orders for wanted criminals. Perhaps I would take care of some of them later. However, for now, I felt like looking at some of these horses. I could certainly go to the throne hall, but I did not want to. And I looked at some of the guards and saw that they had themselves only one barrel of... I have no short sword. Well, let me attempt this again. I have no appropriate short sword for the sharpening. Quite strange.